Multinomial Logistic Regression Model. Let's talk about the background of Multinomial Logistic Regression Model. Multinomial logistic regression is a classification method that generalizes logistic regression to multi-class problems. It is a simple extension of binary logistic regression that allows for more than two categories of the dependent variable, which has no natural ordering. Independent variables can be either categorical or continuous in multinomial logistic regression. It uses maximum likelihood estimation to evaluate the probability of categories as binary logistic regression. Multinomial logistic regression does not assume normality, linearity, or homoscedasticity, but it assumes independence among the dependent variable choices. Let's move on to a simple application which used multinomial logistic regression. The problem is, a researcher wanted to understand whether the political party that a person votes for can be predicted from a belief in whether tax is too high in a person's income. The variables of the study are as follows. The dependent variable is political party, and it is a categorical variable with three categories, namely conservatives, labor, liberal Democrats. The independent variables of the study are tax is too high, which assessed using the Likert scale, and the other variable is income, which is a continuous variable. Let's move on to the results part of the example. The first table is goodness of fit table, which indicates how well the model fits data. Since the p-value is less than 0.05, we reject H-note, which indicates the observed data is not having the goodness of fit with the fitted model. The second table is the model fitting information table, which indicates the significance of the model. Since the p-value is less than 0.05, we reject null hypothesis, which indicates the fitted model is significance at 0.05. First table is pseudo or squared table, which denotes the percentage variance of dependent variables explained by independent variables. According to the Nagelkirk pseudo, R squared 9.7% of the variation of dependent variable is explained by the independent variable. The second table is likelihood ratio tests table, which denotes which of the independent variables are statistically significant. Income is not statistically significant as p-value is greater than 0.05. And tax is too high is statistically significant as p-value is less than 0.05. As per the parameter estimates table, the only variable which significant at 0.05 is strongly disagree to the tax is too high. So from that, we can conclude that, if a person strongly agree compared to strongly disagree that tax is too high, that person are more likely to vote Conservative Party than Labour Party. Ordinal Logistic Regression Model. Let's talk about the background of Ordinal Logistic Regression Model. Ordinal Logistic Regression is a special type of multinomial logistic regression. The dependent variable of ordinal logistic regression model should have more than two classes, which has a specific order. Ordinal logistic regression is commonly used in medical research. Independent variables can be either categorical or continuous in ordinal logistic regression model. Ordinal logistic regression model does not assume normality, linearity, or homoscedasticity as multinomial logistic regression. One of the assumptions underlying ordinal logistic regression model is that the relationship between each pair of outcome groups is the same. Let's consider a simple example of ordinal logistic regression. A researcher wants to identify how gender and scores of science and social science influence the socioeconomic status of a student. The variables of the study are as follows. The dependent variable is socioeconomic status. And it has three classes, namely low, medium, and high, which has natural order. The independent variables are gender, which is a categorical variable, science and social science, which are continuous variables. Let's move on to the results part of the example. The first table is test of parallel line table. Since the p-value is greater than 0.05, we do not reject null hypothesis. Therefore, parallel regression assumption does not get violated. The second table is the model fitting information table, which indicates the significance of the model. Since the p-value is less than 0.05, we reject null hypothesis, which indicates the fitted model is significance at 0.05. According to the Nagelkirk pseudo R-squared, 16.6% of variation is explained by the independent variables. As per the parameter estimation table, the only variable that's significant is social science scores. Since coefficient of that is positive, we can conclude that social science scores get positively impact on socioeconomic status.